Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, so today we are going to go over no true up, doing a no true up review of the system software, just so that you guys can get more familiar. And as Megan posted in the chat area, we will be doing a question and answer portion at the end. Okay, so when you first log into No True Up, if you do not have anything connected yet, this is what you will see. This is the portion that you would select to connect your utility account, and this one is for your solar account, and you can always close these out by pressing on the X. In the utility connection, the drop-down menu, you can select either from PG&E, Southern Cal Edison, or SDG&E. We do not currently have access to any of the other utility companies, but these are the ones that we can support at this time. We also, you can select your company and enter the requested information that they will ask you for. Once everything is submitted, you will know you are done, but because it will bring you back to the No True Up site. The same goes for the solar connection. In the drop-down menu, the ones we do support currently is SolarEdge, Enphase, and SunPower. Again, you would select your manufacturer and enter the requested information, and it will bring you back to No True Up. Okay, on the left corner of your screen, you will see you will see the dashboard and account links. If you click on the account link, you will see all the accounts linked to your profile, and you can connect and disconnect your solar account from this link as well. So by clicking on the X's on the accounts that are already connected, you can disconnect them, and from this drop down, you can also connect your solar accounts. So when you only have your solar connected, this is what you will see. There will only be one graph available, and it will give you the option to connect your utility account. If you happen to be in an area that we do not support, such as MID, you can just click on the X so that you don't constantly have to see that, but we can still monitor your solar. We can do the same for the utility only. With utility only, you will see two graphs because you will also get an estimated true up graph, and we can see an estimated solar production. And when you first log in, if everything is connected, this is what you will see as far as your solar production versus consumption graph, along with your estimated true up graph. Okay, the solar the first graph we're going to go over is the solar production and solar consumption graph. The default view of this graph shows the week production. You can change the time period by clicking on this and selecting the view that you want. For this, we will start with the year view. The graph will, once you click on your selection, whether it's day, month, year, you can, or custom, it will automatically refresh to give you the previous 12 months of production and consumption data if you have both connected. You can change the, by clicking on the date tab, you can adjust the start date of the year you are viewing. You can adjust the month, the year, and the specific day that you want. Here you can see that the system what the system produced in the previous 12 months. For this system, it produced 18,868 kilowatt hours. The green dot on here shows the month where the system had the highest producing day. The darker green bar shows the month where the system pushed the most energy back to the grid on a single day. The red plug at this end represents an extremely high usage month, and the orange plug, the orange plug shows, let me get back, I apologize. The orange plug shows just a regular high usage month. Now you can also choose what you view on your graph by clicking on this gear icon. For this one, we are going to view the solar production and as well as the previous year of production, and that is available for anybody that has had their system for over 12 months. You can compare the 2 years. Excuse me. So here you see the 12 months for 2021, the billing cycle ending in 2021, and then the production for the billing cycle that will be ending in 2022. Using this view, you can also see with the overlay of the production, you can see when there are significant changes. I know that with this system in particular, the one we are viewing today is mine. With this system in particular, my whole system went down in the end of September, beginning of October in 2020. That's why you see that drastic dip in production, and it's very easy to compare the differences. So when you want to switch what you're viewing on your graph, which we're going to do now, we are going to switch to the total consumption. You once again click on the gear and you click on the total consumption, and you can also view the previous year. You can also unclick any of these boxes that you do not want to see. So here you see this is the total consumption graph, and this is the one with the total consumption of the last 2 years compared against each other. Okay, so on this one, I changed the dates to reflect the true-up cycle, which is whenever anybody requests a true-up analysis, this is one of the first things we do. We go based off of your true-up cycle because the production and total consumption does change for the different dates. So here you see I changed the production or the dates, and now the production is sitting at 18,051 kilowatt hours, and this was for the billing cycle ending in 2021. Here you can see in 2020, the total consumption was 17,983 kilowatt hours, which was less than what the system had produced, which means that if my system had produced this much in 2020, that I would not have had a true up. But in 2021, I consumed more power at 20,255 kilowatt hours. And therefore, I did have a true up bill because I went over what my system produced for the year. And viewing it that way also makes it easy for you to keep track of what you're consuming versus what you're producing, and you can keep a handle on the total you're going to end up spending at the end of the year if you're looking at a true-up bill. You can also click on the months themselves to get a closer look at what happened in that particular month. So first, we're going to look at December because it had the extremely high usage month. And then we are going to look at May, which had the highest push to the grid. Okay, so my system is a 16.84 kilowatt system. For the closer look, you can see the production is a little low, what you would expect for a system of that size. However, when you take the weather into consideration, which is something you can also turn on in the gear icon, it makes sense that the production is lower because we have shorter days and there were a lot of overcast and rainy days during this month, which explains the lower production. There are also a lot of days with really high consumption. So we will look at one of the individual days to see why the consumption was so high. So for this view, I turned on the temperature so you can see what the temperature was for that particular day. Again, that is something that you can do with the gear icon. And the average house uses about a kilowatt hour during the night to sustain your regular appliances, such as your fridge and any lights or anything like that that you have running constantly. So on average, it's about 1 kilowatt hour. Here you can see that I was using 3 kilowatt hours or more all throughout the night. When I see something like this, in my case, I know it was because I was running a space heater, and those do consume a lot of energy. Anything that produces heat that you plug in does take a lot of energy, and it is the same with like your hot tub or an electric vehicle. An electric vehicle, we usually see somewhere between 6 and 8 kilowatt hours throughout the time that they're charging. So it is, we can most of the time determine what is pulling a lot of power based on the amount of energy that is being used. So now we are going to look at the peak push data in May. Here you see the warmer weather, and it was in the 80s, high 80s, low 90s all through May, which gave, and the days were longer, so it gave us better production. So in this case, you see May 20th had the peak production hour for the month, as well as the peak push hour, which was right here at noon. Last thing that we are going to review today is the estimated true up graph, which is on the right side when you have your utilities connected. The true up graph should start with the month of your true up cycle. If it does not, please contact us and we can correct it on our end. We do not always have the information, or if something had changed on your account, we do not automatically get that date from PG&E. So if you do see that that is off, please let us know, because that will factor into what your estimated true up will be at the end of the year. Here you can see that I have both years on here for 2020 and 2021. Here, the true up cycle for 2021, I was over by 2,166 kilowatt hours. And in 2021, so far, I'm 1,988 kilowatt hours over, but based on my previous consumption habits, it is estimated that at the end of my true up cycle, I will be sitting at negative 177 kilowatt hours for the year. So this estimate is not always accurate because it depends on your consumption habits. If you follow the same consumption habits, this will be fairly accurate. But if something does change, such as getting an electric vehicle or having somebody else move into the house or somebody moving out of the house, that can definitely fluctuate and will reflect better on your following year's estimated true up cycle. And the further you are into your cycle, the more accurate this will be as well. So right now we can go into any questions you guys may have. Okay, there is a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. And there's also a hand raising function. If you want to use the hand raise function, I can unmute you. I see. First question, I have installed an electric heating AC system. How will I track? So because you have installed an electric heating system, this will cause your consumption to go up a fairly great deal from what I've seen during the winter months when you use it. We try to let people know that when that does happen, or when you buy anything electrical, it will increase your consumption. So what I would recommend is keeping a close eye on your bill and on your updates. If any of you are currently not getting an email update on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, you can also call into our office and we can adjust that for you. But just keeping track of your consumption versus how much your system is producing, and you can hope to try to offset it during the fall or spring months. If not, you can always see about doing a system addition if you do not want to have a large true up at the end of the year. Okay, the next question. So do I have to download a No True Up app? I'm currently using SolarEdge. So there is an app for No True Up, or we also have an online platform. So you can log in online for either one. With SolarEdge, you only see your consumption. With No True Up, you can see both your consumption and your production. I think I misspoke. With SolarEdge, you can only see your production. And the No True Up app is available in both the Android and iPhone stores. Okay, next question is, will anyone be going over an Enphase Enlighten application in the future? We can definitely look at doing something like that. Enphase does have some really good stuff on their website as well that we can probably put some links to on our website, but it is something that we can consider, and we will send an update hopefully by the middle of the month for our next webinar. Okay, the next question is, how accurate is this information? So this information is actually extremely accurate. We get the data directly from your utility and inverter manufacturer. So everything we have in there is based directly on the data that is available through them. So any kilowatt hours that you use, PG&E, SDG&E, or Southern Cal Edison provides us that information, along with whichever inverter company you went with. The exception would be that the estimated production is not 100% accurate, and that's why we estimate it. And the other thing that is not 100% accurate, I only showed you guys the kilowatt hour view. You can change it to dollars, so you can see approximately how many dollars you save a day, or the dollar amount of your estimated true up. Those are not necessarily accurate because it does not take into account for the price adjustments during peak times, or if you are on a rate schedule that causes you to tier up if you go over your baseline allowance. And for anybody that has questions about their rate schedule, you guys can definitely submit to the website or call in, and we can review rate schedules with you to see if you are on the correct rate schedule. The next question, what is the best time to use the washing machine and dishwasher, use electric appliances? I would highly recommend using them during daytime hours between the hours of 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. This will help use your solar power, and it does also avoid any peak hours with different utility companies. And we also recommend that you always set your pool pumps to operate between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. whenever you're able to. How do we know how many kilowatt hours our system produces? Okay, so for this one, you see how on the graph, you'll be able to see how much it produced for that day. If you need to know what the estimated production was for your system at the time of sale, you can refer to your proposal. And if you do not have that information, you can always request it from the office. I hope that answered that question. Okay, the next question is, will this allow me to know what my true up will be at the end of the 12 months? It will give you an idea. This is an estimate. It will let you know at the end of your 12-month cycle, it will let you know how many kilowatt hours you went over. Like I said, the dollar amount is not necessarily accurate. Because it cannot take, we're still working on it, but at the moment we cannot take into account any peak hours or tiering up of your system. And each billing cycle is also different, but it will give you a rough idea, and at the bare minimum can give you the kilowatt hours that you're going to be over for the year, and that will allow you to either adjust your consumption or consider alternative ways to bring that down, or consider adding more panels to offset that amount. When are you going to update the real time instead of 2-day lag? Unfortunately, with this one, this is how we get the information from the utility company. The inverter companies, we get it the next day, but with the utility, we really don't have any control over that. We get the information when they send it to us. We hope that we can sometime in the future be able to get the information sooner. However, it is up to them in the end of the day, and we can only do so much. Then, how will I know what rate schedule is best for my energy needs? So with this one, if anybody on here is on an E6 rate schedule, which you can find on your utility bill, I would highly recommend getting off of it as soon as you possibly can. The way I generally determine which rate schedule is best for you depends on what utility company you're with, but for PG&E, they're the ones with the most flexible rate schedules and ones that you can change the easiest. With their time of use C rate schedule, if you go over 300 kilowatt hours a month of consumption, more than, I would say, 6 times a year, then I would recommend changing you to time of use D. And or if you're currently on time of use D and you don't use a lot, then I would recommend getting onto the time of use C. There are some that have restrictions, like with time of use D, medical baseline discounts do not carry over. So you always want to pay close attention to that. But if you have questions about the rate schedule that you're currently on, you can always feel free to call into the office, and me or my team will take a look at it and let you know what we would recommend. Okay, next question is, why am I not receiving my weekly emails anymore? We do get this from time to time where we accidentally get marked as spam, whether it was by the user accidentally clicking that or by accidentally unsubscribing. When this happens, it is something that we can fix on our end. So you can you can use the email function in No True Up or call into the office, and we can assist you with getting your weekly emails set back up. Okay. So the next question, why am I estimating towards a true up if my power consumption has not changed? So there are various reasons that this could be the case. One, if you're on the wrong rate schedule, this can impact your true up. So especially for people who are on the E6 rate schedule, it's something that I'm seeing a lot because PG&E made a lot of changes to their rate schedules. I've seen people double a true up bill just because they are on the wrong schedule. And sometimes people don't consider what they're actually consuming, and that is something that you compare year over year. If you do see that your consumption really has not changed by viewing your total consumption year over year, then and looking at your solar production, if your system was down, or if there was shade on your system, or there was any kind of hiccup with the system itself, at that point you can call into the office and request a true-up analysis, and we can reimburse for lost production if it's necessary. Okay, the next question. If my consumption changes very much, electric car, central electric heating system, replacing gas for heating, will I need to upgrade my system with more panels? I would highly recommend doing that, but you don't have to. If you see that your consumption is increasing, and you can always view on your bill as well where you're sitting for your true up. It will give you an estimate, or not an estimate, but it'll give you where you are every month in your true up cycle, what your total is so far, whether it's debits or credits. If you're okay with kind of planning out that amount, I've seen some really, really high true ups, upwards of $3,000. If you don't want to do a system addition, or if you're in a scenario where your roof is too small to handle any more panels, then you can just kind of plan out for that throughout the year by putting that money aside, or making some other energy efficient upgrades that will help bring down the consumption. But generally, adding panels for adding something big like that would be the best route to take. That is all the questions I have at this time. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, and you guys can also let me know if if it would be easier for you to ask the question without typing, and I can unmute you. Okay, well, we have no more questions. We do plan on posting this videos for anybody to review at a later date if you need to, and you guys can always call into the office as well for any refreshers that you may need, or if you want a second review of the true up system, no true up system.